All right, let's talk a little bit about Intel right now. Not going to be a really long segment. It's not a whole lot that I can give. It's been a little bit quiet out there today. But there have been some things that have happened, for example, in Iraq. Um, Many of you guys know that Prime Minister Abadi and a couple of other dignitaries from Iraq were here, and then they went up to New York to speak at the UN. Now, I heard that Abadi spoke today at the UN, but I did not hear the message itself. So I wish I could tell you that happened, but in my current condition, I wasn't really able to receive everything today. But I did hear that Iraq did initiate their monetary reforms 4 days ago in Iraq. And of course, we're looking for sort of an announcement to reflect the new rate. We believe the Gazette either did come out yesterday with the rate, but we do not. I don't have it exactly yet. I don't know for sure if it got released or whether it's going to be released like Saturday, as far as that new rate goes. But I tell you one thing, Iraq is basically done and been done. I've heard some things about rates for Iraq, but like I said, today was a little different, and I wasn't able to nail down everything. I've heard a couple of different things on that. But the point is, they're moved along very well, and I think that's going to bode very well for us here in the coming days. Ooh, I don't like that expression. In the very near future. Otherwise, when it comes to the redemption centers, we did have a situation with a lot of redemption centers not being online in Florida for a while. We talked about it, I believe it was on Tuesday. We said that redemption centers from Tampa south, you could almost draw a line with Interstate 4 across the strait, found that many of those were evacuated. Many of their principal people were flown up to Destin and Tallahassee, and some of the bankers from South Florida, Miami area and so on, were flown into Atlanta, and they stayed there and weathered out the storm up there. And then all of a sudden, of course, the storm came up and greeted them like it did in Atlanta. And, I just think it's really interesting how that happened. But I believe everybody is back or on their way back now. I know that Miami is moving along nicely. And I know they had 6 redemption centers open in Miami yesterday. So when I say open, I mean fully staffed and ready to go. And I believe that I don't have an absolute report on total redemption centers in Florida, but I do believe they're moving along very nicely for us to be able to take exchanges. I've heard Miami, for example, is fairly busy in terms of getting ready and in terms of things happening down there. And I believe it's going to be very busy here in the near future. It's going to be a major center for exchanges. And so will other parts of Florida. It'll be, it'll come back online. So I'm excited about the way that the state is recovering and coming back. Not just Florida, but obviously Texas has made it back in terms of the redemption centers, and Louisiana as well. So I think really for this to be underway for us here in the next couple of days, I think is very, very possible. I've heard a few stories out there today that indicated that some places were doing some exchanges already, and I think these were not used with the 800 number. These were not part of the network that we're going to be able to access with our 800 number to set our appointments. But I think that there's some pretty positive things happening out there. So I would just say very briefly that we did hear rates were up again I believe they're exchanging, or no, they're increasing rates on the dinar. I know that they may have settled in on a CBI rate, but just realize this, the rate that shows on the CBI is not going to be the rate that we're going to have here at the redemption centers. We have a much higher rate here, and we'll be able to exchange for a higher rate, a privately negotiable rate. Now, and it'll be higher. The ZIM is trading up higher still, and they want to sort of keep the ZIM at a certain point and not exceed it. Right now, they're trying to get it traded up, and it is, and it's in a great range where the screen rate itself would be just absolutely fantastic. Okay, and I will say this: when we go in and see those rates, we'll be fine on those. Absolutely great. You can negotiate it higher if you wish, but many of you will be fine with the no NDA rate, which would be the screen rates. So you can consider that as well. I mean, it's not something in the 5 cents or 10 cents or whatever rate. It's way into over sort of between $3 and $4. Okay, that's where we are. So even though I don't do rates, and it's only because I'm feeling like I'm getting back and coming back, I just think you guys should know that. Now, when we go and when we exchange through the redemption centers, we will have the opportunity to get those privately negotiable rates and get them higher if you have projects to do. Now, whenever the John Q. Public starts, and I don't know when that's going to be now. It was going to be somewhere in the vicinity of the 15th. No, and then it got moved to the 22nd of this month. Now, with everything going on in Florida, it wouldn't surprise me if it got pushed back to, October 1st for the John Q. Public. I don't know that, but we're going to have plenty of time to exchange, and you'll be happy to do that. Set your appointments, go in, get it done. Obviously, ZIM is the key, and they're very interested in picking up the ZIM bonds that we hold, and you'll have every opportunity to do that. Now, after we are done and the so-called John Q. Public starts, that's when you'll see drops in the rates, I think all the way across the board. Not just the ZIM, but you'll see drops in dinar and dong also, and some of the other currencies I think would drop down. So keep that in mind. If you're paying attention to the big call and you're on the blogs and so on, you're in a group called the Internet Group. It's not an official group. It's just a loosely formed group of about 6 million people that are listening and paying attention to what's going on. And the Chinese want this group of the Internet Group to benefit. They want us to do projects. They want this to go to humanity, okay, and not just to our own pockets. And that's why they're willing to negotiate these rates as privately negotiable rates up higher. So remember, and I'm just going to cut the intel short because there's not that much other than we are very, very close to this going. Okay? Very, very close. I've heard some things, about any day now, and I feel good about that. I feel like I'm in a very calm mood and relaxed state of expectation and waiting for this to come through. We've said that before, but now we're seeing money moving like we've never seen it before around. We've just heard some things and read some things that let us believe that this is our time. Okay, so everybody keep that in mind. Remember, if you don't have projects of your own and you want to partner with us, with the big call for Rebuild America. Obviously, the Veterans Retreat Network is something that's going to change a little bit how we initially wanted to do that, but it will still be available for people to help and be able to do that in your own city, town. When can we claim a city? When can I, or more, to participate in Rebuild America? I think it's going to be really, really cool, and we'll have some great opportunities.